Yo, yo, yo. It's your boy. It's your boy. You go, boy. You know the vibes. You know the vibes. Love you, Mongo. Yeah, we're just gonna quickly recap the NFC and AFC Championship games. I was working the Harlem Wizard game, as you boys know. As you guys know, I'm still on tour right now, which is, why my schedule is ridiculous. Me and Mongo, we're gonna be in studio for we're gonna be doing a virtual episode for episode 61 right after the Super Bowl. But I figured I hopped on here and just broke down the championship Sunday. NFC Championship game, AFC Championship game. Eagles punched their ticket to the Super Bowl. Chiefs, shocker, they punched their ticket. They just punched their ticket to the Super Bowl. I was able to catch toward the end of the first half as well as the second half of the AFC Championship game. I missed the NFC Championship game completely. I was working in Jersey for the Wizards, but yeah, I mean, no shocker. Both teams that me and Mongo picked to win on Championship Sunday, they both won. No shocker whatsoever. The Eagles won in dominating fashion as expected. Just wasn't surprised whatsoever. Eagles and Commanders it was such a bad matchup. It was the worst matchup coming into these playoffs. The Rams were a better matchup for the Eagles than the Commanders. Like I had mentioned on episode 60, which is available now, clips too. They're on all digital platforms, and the full episode is up too. Like I mentioned, Saquon had a field day against the Commanders in both matchups. And again, the only reason why the Commanders were able to shock the Eagles in the second game in Washington was because Jalen Hurts got hurt. And Kenny Pickett came in and started turning the ball over. The Eagles turned the ball over a few times in Washington, so it wasn't a shocker. And again, it was close late. And Jaden Daniels, he has that clutch factor. He has that clutch gene. He can win a ball game late. He did it quite a few times this season. You know what I mean? So, but this was a bad matchup. That NFC Championship game was a terrible matchup for the Commanders. If you can't stop Saquon Barkley, you can't beat Philadelphia. You can't. And the only two teams remaining in this tournament that can consistently stop the run and can consistently stop Barkley in my eyes were the Bills and the Chiefs. And like I mentioned on the pod, one of those teams was going to lose, and that team was Buffalo. But, we'll get to them. But let's just stay right there. Let's just keep that same energy. Let's stay on the NFC Championship game. Yeah, I mean, it just went according to script, man. The Commanders, they turned the ball over 3 times, -3 in the turnover differential. It was basically like a Spider-Man meme. You saw how the Lions wet the bed against the Washington Commanders. Well, the Commanders, they just did what the Lions did. Instead of a -5 turnover differential, a -3 on the road against a superior opponent. Come on, man. You're just asking for it. Again, the first offensive play, this game was lost like really early. I was able to catch the first 2 drives by both teams. I saw the 18-play drive by Washington, couple 4th down conversions, and they moved the ball, couple key throws, key runs. They kept that Philly defense on the field, and they kept that explosive Philly offense off the field. That's their game plan right there. They settled for 3. What do the Eagles do on their very first possession? As soon as Saquon Barkley catches on a misdirection pitch, he's gone. He's gone. House call. That's the game right there. That's the game. It took the Commanders 18 plays to kick a field goal. It took the Eagles 1 play to score a touchdown. That's it. That's it right there. I mean, this was a mismatch. This was a complete, utter mismatch. The only team on the NFC bracket that could beat the Eagles unequivocally were the Detroit Lions. And as soon as they got packing, 1, 2, 3, Cancun. As soon as they got packing, it was a cakewalk for Philly to New Orleans. You know what I mean? Because the Rams, they couldn't stop Saquon Barkley in LA. They couldn't stop him in Philly. And the Commanders, they couldn't stop Saquon Barkley in Washington. They couldn't stop him in Philly. And again, they couldn't stop him in Philly. Like the Saquon is the engine that makes the Eagles go. All right. Just like when the 49ers or the San Francisco Avengers, if you watch the show, just like the San Francisco Avengers, when the Avengers got Christian McCaffrey, their entire offense changed. He's the engine that makes everybody eat. Debo eats. Kittle eats. Ayuk eats. They're the Yak Boys. They all eat because defenses have to worry about a future Hall of Famer in Christian McCaffrey. You go over to, and again, that's what a deficient passer in Brock Purdy. Same formula. Eagles, deficient passer in Jalen Hurts. Insert Saquon Barkley. You want to load the box? We got A.J. Brown, all-pro on one side. We got Devontae Smith, Heisman Trophy winner on the other. We got Dallas Goedert coming up the scene. Like, they just make it so easy. The Eagles aren't winning. I mentioned this in episode 60. Go watch episode 60. I said this. The Eagles are not winning because of this amazing, out of this world, oh my God, Kellen Moore, you offensive wizard. No, they're winning because they got themselves one of them ones in the backfield to go with a dominant offensive line and a dominant run game. That's why they're winning. Not to mention their defense, though. Vic Fangio, he should have got some head coaching consideration. I mean, he didn't have a real good tenure in Denver. Then again, who does? Aside from Sean Payton last year, getting him to the playoffs. But come on, man, look at this defense. Defense is night and day. They're forcing turnovers. All those Georgia boys, they've grown up. They had their aches and pains last year, but Davis, Carter, Nolan Smith, all them Georgia boys they're turning into men. Those pups are turning into big dogs right now, and they're a problem. And getting Quinn Mitchell, drafting him out of Toledo, drafting Cooper DeJean to go with that secondary. They still got Slay, a savvy corner. You know what I mean? Bradbury's not getting burnt like toast anymore. I don't even know if he's still on the roster. You think he is, but he's on special teams. You know what I mean? And again, Bond, who they got from the Saints, he was a Pro Bowler. I think he was all pro this year. Slow clap for Howie Roseman. You know, as a Dallas fan, I'm going to insert Dallas into this. Don't worry. I always will. America's team. We're in Cancun right now with the rest of the NFL. Again, Howie Roseman has figured out, how do I get as much quality talent on my roster as humanly possible? How? I'm going to use the draft. I'm going to use free agency. I'm going to use trades. I'm going to, and of course, we're going to develop. We're going to scout, develop, and we're going to have, and the Eagles have easily the best all-around roster in the league, not just the NFC. I'll take a step further. In the league, they've got a better roster than anybody in this tournament coming in. Their deficiencies are at head coach and at quarterback. That will be their undoing. It will. Because what the Chiefs do is, and the greatness of the Chiefs, and again, we'll get to the AFC Championship game, but let's stick with the NFC Championship game. Before we even get there, let's stick with this. What the Eagles have managed to do is they figured out how to maximize this roster. All right. Kellen Moore he's still joystick. He's still calling plays like he's in his basement using his mama's Wi-Fi. Shout out to Michael Lombardi. That's his nickname he has for him. But Jalen Hurts, you don't got to throw the ball too much. We don't need 200 yards passing from you. Hand that ball off to Saquon 30 times a game. Don't turn the ball over, and just short intermediate passes to A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith and Dallas Goedert. That's all. That's the formula. And of course, if it gets to 1 yard away, tush push time. It's a formula that has worked. It's tried and true. What I'm saying is, we're going to get to the AFC shortly. That is how they've dominated the NFC and why they are playing in New Orleans. And you go over to Washington. They overachieved, but they took a big step forward. You know, Jaden Daniels has a tremendous career ahead of him. He's going to be a problem in the NFC for years to come. Dan Quinn has a culture that is tried and true and built the right way. They got a ton of cap space. They're going to be aggressive in the offseason. You know that. They're going to continue to draft well. Don't be shocked that they land another big name or two. when free agency opens up in March before the draft. They're going to continue to build this program. Washington, barring catastrophic injuries, because that's always the deciding factor. You know what I mean? They're going to be a problem, and they're going to be players in the NFC for years to come because they found the head coach, they found the quarterback, they've got the culture, they've got the front office, the Fantastic Four. I mentioned it on episode 60. You need team building, roster building, a competent front office, and a quarterback. Washington has all four. They have all four. So with all four, you can absolutely win a Super Bowl. Look for them they got to upgrade their defense. They absolutely need to upgrade their defense. They were given, again, they couldn't stop Detroit. If Detroit turns the ball over 2 times instead of 5, they turn the ball over 2 times. Detroit probably wins that game. In the last minute, they probably do. And by the way, if you guys have any insight, comment away. Throw some comments in the chat. You know what I mean? I'm going to be on here. We're just breaking down the NFC and the AFC Championship game. And then I'll drop a pipe bomb. Shout out to the You Go Boy podcast. I'll drop a pipe bomb about Dallas and Brian Schottenheimer as well, part 2. Washington, they're going to be a problem. I expect for them to take another step forward next year. Don't be shocked if they go on another run in the playoffs last year because they absolutely have their core in place. They just got to build off it. But this is Philly's conference right now. They're the best team in the NFC. It's not a mistake that they're in New Orleans. It's not a mistake. They know who they are. They know what they are, and they have a legitimate shot to stop the three-peat if they continue to run their formula. Now, before I get to my prediction, let's get over to the AFC Championship game. Buffalo and Kansas City, it went down exactly how I thought it would. I mean, you're not like this is Patty and Josh like old times. I mentioned in a clip that again went viral on Instagram and TikTok. I think about 2,000 views on Instagram by itself. The reel where I basically explained what was going to happen in this game. I said whoever had the ball last was going to win. You know who ended the game with the ball in their hands? Kansas City. Tell me when I'm telling lies. I'm wearing a CM Punk hoodie. Like, come on. I said that I said that a bone-breaking, back-breaking, earth-shattering, Vince McMahon-led call was going to hurt Buffalo and they were going to have to overcome it. Josh Allen gets the first down with the quarterback sneak. The entire ball, the line to gain was the 30-yard line, I believe, whatever yard line. That was the line to gain. The ball is right there. And they reviewed it and still call stands, call confirmed. The Bills got the first down there, man. But again, this is what the NFL wants. The NFL wants Chiefs, Eagles. The NFL does not want Buffalo and Philadelphia. They don't want that. They didn't want Buffalo Commanders either. They didn't want Buffalo, Detroit. They wanted Chiefs, Eagles, part 2. That's what they wanted. And that's what they got. All right? Because the thing with the Chiefs, again, you cannot, I repeat unequivocally, you cannot think that you're going to fool Patrick Mahomes. All right? Because, again, Patrick Mahomes is like an android. All right? I talked about this when we were recapping last year's Super Bowl. You can give Patrick Mahomes problems in the first half because he's still collecting data. You can give him problems in the first quarter early on. You can give him problems. You can because he's still computing. All right? But just like Android 17 and 18 from Dragon Ball Z, he's going to figure out what you're doing, what you're trying to take away from him, what he's going to have available, and then it's hibachi. How do you want the hibachi? You want hibachi chicken? You want shrimp? You want steak? You want veggies? You want rice? You want the yum yum sauce on the side? It's hibachi. Like to beat the Chiefs, your best bet is to keep him on the sideline. And Buffalo was doing a great job, even when they took the lead late, of running the football, keeping him on the sideline, taking away precious moments where Patty Jordan, that's his nickname that I've dubbed for him, has the ball in his hands. Like that's exactly what took place. And I'm telling you, man, I'm telling you, this game went it went chalk, as me and Mongo stated. It went chalk. I mean, the Chiefs are just a better coach team. They've got the better quarterback. They've got the better scheme. And they're at home with the officials. Like, tell me when I'm telling lies. Like what else is new? What else is new? Like the Chiefs, this three-peat is going to happen. And let's just segue. Let's just keep it going. The three-peat is going to happen because what happened last year and what happened Super Bowl win number 2 and what happened Super Bowl win number 1 is going to happen again with this one for Patty, for when he gets ring number 4. The same script is going to happen. Look for the Eagles to take the lead. Look for the Eagles to even have the lead. Look for it, because I believe their offense at times is explosive. I don't think Saquon is going to run wild. The number one focus of Kansas City is going to be the number one focus that it was last year in Vegas. The Chiefs knew, listen, we can't let McCaffrey go crazy. He goes crazy, we're going to lose this game. Might lose it by double digits. We've got to, instead of averaging 6 yards a carry, Saquon, you're going to average like 3. Every time you get it, you're going to feel it. No explosive 60, 70-yard runs. So you can wrap that shit up right there. Like I'm going on record right now. Saquon's not those crazy runs he had against the Lions and against the Commanders, that shit ain't happening. That shit ain't happening. Shout out to Sonny. Matter of fact, Sonny, if you got a question, throw it in the chat real quick. I'll definitely respond. My boy Sonny, man, Houdini, you know what I mean? Member of Vision of Quest, rest in peace to Sid. Get in the chat, man. Ask a question, man. Throw a question real quick there about your bum-ass Eagles. But in the Super Bowl, I'm telling you, the Chiefs are not going to allow Saquon to run wild. It's not happening, bro. It's not happening. He's not going crazy. He's not running for 250 yards. Every other run is like a 50 or 60-yard run. That shit ain't happening against the Kansas City. It's not. It's not. The best bet Philly has is to control the clock and to take possessions away from Patty. That's the only way to beat him. All right, so we got the first question up. Shout out to Sonny. Love you, dog. He said, can the Eagles contain Pat? Yes, they can contain him for the first 2 to 3 quarters. Like I'm telling you, this is going to be the same script. This is going to be the same script of the first time they played in Arizona a few years ago at that Super Bowl. The Eagles defense with Vic Fangio, because again, Fangio is familiar with Pat with all those years he spent with the Broncos. So with that being said, he understands how to frustrate and make life challenging at times for Patty. But Patty is going to just like an Android, like Android 17, Android 18 from Dragon Ball Z. He wants to get to the fourth quarter within striking distance, because come fourth quarter, he knows what you're doing. So it's just a wrap. Now it's just containing how many times you're going to give him the ball. All right. And the Eagles pass rush is good enough to get to Patty. Like the Kansas City offensive line, they've had problems throughout the season protecting Mahomes. They were good today. They were good really in the first game against the Texans for the most part, although I believe the Texans did outplay the Chiefs for most of that game. What I'm saying is the Eagles defense is absolutely good enough to give Kansas City problems. It's going to come down like a broken record. Who's going to win the turnover margin? Okay, there's going to be no turnovers each way. How many possessions can you take away from Patty Mahomes? That's going to be the key. So to answer your question, Sonny, can they contain him? Yeah, they can, because they have an elite defense. They have an elite defense. Who has the better O-line or D-line? The Eagles have the Eagles have the better O-line. The Eagles have the better O-line. Defensive line, that's a little bit of a toss-up. I want to lean a little bit more to the Eagles because, like I said, all them Georgia boys, they're men right now. They're men right now. But the difference maker over there with the Chiefs, they got Karlaftis, they got Amenahue, and they got that big boy Chris Jones. So I think the defensive line that's a wash. They cancel each other out. The defensive lines cancel each other out. Eagles got the offensive line. They got the offensive line for sure. But here's the difference. The Eagles are a better run blocking offensive line. They just want to punish. They want to punish you. They want to double team block. They want to open up holes for Saquon. They want him to eat. So to answer your point, once again, Sonny, once and for all, Chiefs got the Eagles got a better defensive line. I'm going to give it. I mean the better offensive line. Defensive line, it's a wash. It's a wash. Both of those fronts don't need the blitz to put pressure on you. And Spagnuolo, there's a reason why he's got 10 rings, for Christ's sakes. He knows how to make life rough on quarterbacks. And Vic Fangio, he has been a perfect addition for the Eagles in terms of his personnel. Again, Mitchell and DeJean, those two back-to-back draft picks, they changed this entire secondary. Because last year, the Eagles secondary was getting barbecued. Everybody was throwing for a party against the Eagles secondary. Everybody. That hasn't been the case this year. Because, again, the defensive line has gotten better. The secondary has gotten better. The scheme is better. And they've ascended. They've gotten better as the year has gone on. They're getting sacks, and they're taking the ball away. C.J. Gardner-Johnson, another great addition. Blankenship. You know what I mean? The Eagles, they absolutely deserve to be here. And, like, the Chiefs are not going to walk through Philly. I would never say that in a million years. What I'm saying is, how many possessions can the Eagles take away from Patty Mahomes? That's the difference in the game. If they can't steal a couple possessions away, if they can't run the ball efficiently enough to take possessions and take chances away, because it's just like a great shooter, all right? You know Kobe is going to give you buckets. You know Jordan is going to give you buckets. You just know that. You know that coming off the bus. How can we make him at least work for it? Or how much can we hold the ball or even deny him the ball to get it? Because once he gets it, it's hibachi. It's a bucket. At some point, he can miss 3 in a row, and then he can make 10 in a row. He can miss 5 in a row. He can make 12 in a row. He's just like that. And it's the same with Patty. Think about this. The Chiefs have been losing. They've been behind in all 4 Super Bowl appearances. All 4 of them, they've been behind. And in 2 of them, they were down 10. And matter of fact, in 3 of them, they've had double-digit deficits. I mean, I'm sorry, like, come on, man. Like, what are we talking about here? Like, they've had to come back in every single Super Bowl to win, but what happens in the fourth quarter? What happens? The defense gets critical stops, and then Patty has figured out what you've been doing to him, which gave him problems, and you can't stop him. You just can't stop him. He's either going to scramble for the first down, he's going to scramble for the touchdown, he's going to hit Kelsey, he's going to hit insert obscure receiver, and hibachi. It's a chip. All right, we got another one. Has Jalen Hurts shown improvement since the last Super Bowl when he had those turnovers? Jalen Hurts has done a better job at protecting the football. He has improved at protecting the football. That is the biggest improvement he's made. And that's important. That's important. The way their offense is set up is very, as I mentioned earlier, Sonny, before you hopped on, the way San Francisco set up their offense with Purdy, the San Francisco's offense is set up through the running back is the lead Avenger, is the Captain America. The Avengers are not the Avengers without Captain. You take Captain America away from the Avengers, they're not the Avengers. You take Iron Man away from the Avengers, they're not the Avengers. They're not. They're the new Avengers, or they're the replacements. They're or whatever the next franchise is now that they're building up in the next Marvel phase or whatever. But what I've enjoyed about Hurts, because I hate the Eagles forever, but I am a Jalen Hurts as a person, as a human being. I like him. I hate the fact that he wears the Kelly green or the muddy green or midnight green, whatever green that Philadelphia wears. But I do like Jalen Hurts, the person. I know a lot of people don't believe that as a Cowboy fan, but Jalen Hurts is cool. He's a cool dude. He's not a jackass. He's not super arrogant. He doesn't talk crazy. He's not a dirty player. He's a good dude. He's a solid dude and a God-fearing man on top of that too. So all that, I can't hate him. I just hate the fact that he plays for the Eagles. But Hurts has definitely improved at not turning the ball over. What Kellen Moore has done, Sonny, and whoever else is on as well, they're limiting his throws. Because when you've got a dominant offensive line and you have Saquon and you've got a dominant defense, you don't need to throw the ball that much. You just don't. You just do not. And again, look at the San Francisco 49ers / Avengers from last year. They were bottom of the barrel in pass attempts. Like the Eagles have the 23rd ranked passing offense. That's crazy to say with A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, and Dallas Goedert, all Pro Bowlers, all pro guys, some of the best in the league at their positions. But Jalen doesn't have to throw the ball around the yard when you got a dude that just ran for 2,000 yards. You just don't. Can you win a Super Bowl that way? Yes, you can. It's happened before. It's happened before multiple times. You know, so Hurts has improved at not turning the ball over. He's still not throwing the ball that much, but this is what's going to be interesting because go back to the previous Super Bowl matchup that they had. Jalen Hurts had the best game of his career. If the Eagles had pulled out and won that Super Bowl, which was a classic, that was one of the greatest Super Bowls ever played. You know what I mean? Chiefs pulled it out. Not a questionable call. Bradbury grabbed the receiver, and it was definitely a hole. So, like all these Eagle fans saying that they got screwed. Like, no, it was. He legitimately held him, and even Bradbury admitted it. But what you saw in that game, you saw Hurts do it all. You saw Hurts run the ball. You saw Hurts throw the ball. I think he had 4 total touchdowns. I think he had 3 rushing touchdowns. Of course, tush push aside. But Hurts, what I saw in that game had me terrified because that version of Jalen Hurts, and again, because I've seen it and because everybody's seen it, if the Eagles get that version, say the Chiefs take away Saquon. Say the Chiefs are just like, listen, Saquon, you might as well not even show up. Just like they took away McCaffrey last year. McCaffrey was a non-factor. He had a passing touchdown. That's how much of a non-factor McCaffrey was. Like McCaffrey almost 2 or 3 yards below his season average in that game. Chiefs were just like, listen, bruh, you ain't running today. You're not running wild. You like San Francisco, you can't have McCaffrey today. Maybe a couple screen passes here and there, a couple tosses here and there, but you can't have him. If the Chiefs take away Barkley, trust me, that's their plan. That is going to be numero uno with Steve Spagnuolo. He's going to have a big fat head sticker of Saquon on the whiteboard, and he's going to turn to all his interior defensive linemen, all his linebackers, and was like, listen, this guy right here, if he goes off, we're not going to win the Super Bowl. We're going to lose the Super Bowl to the Eagles. He can't go off. With that being said, if the Jalen Hurts from the previous Super Bowl, if that guy shows up, the Eagles can absolutely win this game. Absolutely win this game. That remains to be seen if he does show up because the Eagles have not won a game. I believe they're 0-3 in playoff games where he's thrown for more than 180 yards, including that Super Bowl. Yeah, Sonny, you're right. A.J. Brown's got to go off. All the stars need to show up. Like I said this on the pod. Shout out to you, Go Boy Podcast. Love you, Mongo. I said this on the pod. Your stars have to shine the brightest in the playoffs, in conference championship games, in Super Bowls. Your stars gotta show up. AJ Brown's gotta show up. Devontae Smith's gotta show up. Both of them showed up in the last Super Bowl. So I'm not even going to put it on them. They both scored, and Devontae Smith had a crazy game. A.J. Brown scored a touchdown. Goddard showed up. Everybody showed up. It's just, again, Patty was just Patty. Jordan was Jordan. There's nothing you can do about it, bro. Like we're in the Mahomes era. This is a carbon copy of the Jordan era, bro. How many great players did Michael Jordan prevent from getting rings during the Jordan era? How many? How many? He did it to the Lakers toward the end of their dynasty. He did it to the Pistons. He did it to the Blazers. He did it to the Jazz. He did it to the Sonics. He did it to the Knicks. So many great players, first ballot Hall of Famers, are ringless because of Michael Jeffrey. And Mahomes is doing it really for the most part to the 49ers, to the Eagles, and over in his conference, yeah, Lamar, you ain't getting a ring while I'm here. Not on my watch. Allen, Josh, we can meet up at your place. We can meet up at my place. You can beat me in a regular season. Cool. Awesome. Slow clap. You show up to Arrowhead, or I show up to Orchard Park come January, I'm sending you to Cancun. The only two people that have sent Patty home in this era, in his building, is Tom Brady, who's in the freaking Fox booth now, and Joe Burrow, who I still believe is right there with Patty. That's it. Somebody is going to break through. Somebody's going to break through. What I saw from Jalen Hurts in that first Super Bowl, if that guy shows up, he can absolutely temporarily, because I think he's going to win more chips, he can temporarily put a pause in the Mahomes era. Absolutely. He was special. It sickens me as a Cowboy fan to gush over him like this, but it's facts. I love football. I love ball. I love great quarterback play. I love great execution, great play design, great coaching, great players. AJ Brown's one of my favorite players in the league, bro. It sickens me. The moment I found out the Titans traded him to the Eagles, I was literally physically sick. You know what I mean? I love AJ Brown. I got to get his jersey, and I got to get it signed too. I love AJ Brown. But it's like, yo, facts are facts. This is the Mahomes era, but in that Super Bowl, Jalen Hurts was special. I don't know if Kellen Moore, and again, that was with, however, here's the caveat though. That was with Steichen, however you pronounce his name, who's the head coach now over in Indianapolis. Is Kellen Moore going to allow Jalen to be special in the playoffs? I mean, in the Super Bowl in New Orleans? Because I'm telling you guys, everybody that's tuned in, everybody that's in the chat, mainly Sonny, the Chiefs are going to do everything under the sun to take away Barkley. And if they do that, it's going to be the Super Bowl hopes and dreams are going to be in the hands of Jalen. And again, is he going to show up? If that guy shows up from Arizona, the Eagles will win the Super Bowl. I really believe that. I don't know if that's going to happen. That remains to be seen. Yeah, facts. You know, hey, listen, Elijah, I would have loved that. So if you guys can't see the chat, Hurts got to beat Elijah to MJ's / to Patty's run. Facts. I would have loved to have had a Rockets Bulls finals. Just one, because the Bulls had no answer for Elijah. Rockets had no answer for MJ either. Like MJ would have averaged 30 to 40. Elijah would have averaged like 40. Who was gonna guard Elijah? Luke Longley, Dave the Butcher, Will Perdue, Tony Kukoc. Like who I mean, like Bill Cartwright. Like who are the Bulls gonna put on Elijah? Because it didn't matter. It was gonna be barbecue chicken or a goosey soup or goat meat or jollof rice all series long. But we'll never know. For argument's sake, though, I say Rockets would have won in 7. That's just me. I'm biased though. Sidebar, shout out to the Rockets, number 2 seed in the West. We just beat the Cavs for the second time in 2 weeks. Rockets are legitimate champions, and Jabari Smith isn't even back from injury. Like, shout out to the Rockets, championship contenders. But we're gonna keep it football. Sonny, if you got any more questions, you could throw them my way because I got to transition before I get out of here to America's team. I got to transition to the Cowboys, man. So Schottenheimer is named Cowboys head coach. As I mentioned in the previous video, this was a lateral move. I'm not going to pass judgment on this until I see what we do in free agency, until I see what we do in the draft, until I see the rest of his staff. Again, Dallas did the soft rebuild. As I mentioned in the last time I went live, Matt Eberflus, I believe, is the de facto defensive coordinator, although they're interviewing some other people, but he's the leader in the clubhouse. He's in a catbird seat, as Shannon Sharp says. But as a Cowboy fan watching Championship Sunday for the 30th year, and this is what I haven't mentioned this on my show, but I'm going to mention this on a live, because then we do unfiltered, authentic conversations on the live, on the pod, in the shorts. It doesn't matter. If it's on this channel, you're getting unfiltered, authentic conversations. That's what you're getting. So let me be unfiltered, authentic real quick. Every year on Championship Sunday, I watch the Cowboys' last NFC Championship game in '95. It's on YouTube now with the intro, with Pat Summerall, John Madden on the call, on the Fox broadcast. I'm about to watch the post game as well. Old school. And I watch it to remind myself what that feeling was, because I remember that last of all the conference championship wins and all the Super Bowls. Of course, I was 7, so I was the oldest at that point. I remember the last one so vividly. And it meant so much to me because, again, there was so much turmoil on the team. We had just fired Jimmy Johnson, or let him go, parting of ways, whatever the hell you want to call it. And Emmett, Troy, Mike, Deion Sanders too. What I saw in that game, the stars showed up. And I got to draw parallels here, because the last time the Cowboys were in the playoffs, ironically enough, against the Packers, like that last NFC Championship game, last year in the wild card round, Dallas is the 2 seed. Did Dak Prescott show up? Did CeeDee Lamb show up? Did Micah Parsons show up? Did their best players show up in that playoff game? No. Take it a step further. Mike McCarthy, a reason why I was not mad at all that he's gone from Dallas. You cannot play the worst game of the season. Look right into the camera. You cannot play the worst game of the season in the playoffs. And every playoff loss during the McCarthy era, Dallas played their worst game. San Francisco in Dallas, San Francisco in San Francisco, and at home as the 2 seed at home against the same Packer team that Tommy DeVito and the Giants lit up on Monday Night Football. Tommy DeVito was NFC Player of the Week against that same Packer defense. CeeDee and Dak was completely out of sorts. Michael was a non-factor. CeeDee Lamb's running wrong routes. Dak is throwing pick sixes. They look so unorganized. And Aaron Jones is still running. He's still running. If he's a free agent, Dallas, y'all better sign him to go with Genty. Draft Ashton Genty too. But Dallas is a mess. And again, I'm not excited about the Schottenheimer move. I'm not excited about it. At the same time, I like to let things play out. I want to see things play out. I want to see what the plan is. I want to see what the strategy is. The offseason moves is going to tell the story. If it's another offseason of bottom of the barrel, bargain basement bullshit, of them signing bodies and not signing dudes, of them not freeing up cap space, of them not making trades, and of them just relying solely on the draft to improve this team, it's going to be 31 years and counting. Because look at the last 2 teams standing. We talked about it with the AFC Championship winners. We talked about it with the NFC Championship winners. The Eagles got busy in free agency and the draft and trades. They use all 3 mechanisms every single year to field the best team possible. Bourne wasn't an Eagle last year. Mitchell wasn't an Eagle last year. Dejan wasn't an Eagle last year. CJ Gardner-Johnson wasn't an Eagle last year. Who is this? Oh, is this Camo? This is Camo. This is Camo. This is Camo. Of course you remember. Of course you remember. He's talking about 94. I remember the 49ers beating the Cowboys. Yeah, you remember that one from 94. Do you remember 92? Do you remember 93? Do you remember those two NFC championships? Do you remember the pass interference in 94 too? keep it going, Camo. I'm here all night just for you, baby. I'm Mike Irv. You're Deion Sanders with the 49ers. You already know that. But no, how you look at the Chiefs. Look at the Chiefs, man. Hopkins wasn't on the Chiefs last year. Hollywood Brown wasn't on the Chiefs last year. Xavier Worthy wasn't on the Chiefs last year. I could keep going, man. I could keep going. The Chiefs realize we're the best team in the world right now. But to stay there, it's an arms race. We're going to use the draft. We're going to use free agency. We're going to use trades. We're going to exhaust our resources to put the best team on the field to keep winning Super Bowls. Notice how both of the teams I mentioned, notice how both of those teams, they didn't just rely on the draft. What's Camo talking now? You just said we beat you in the playoffs and y'all were the 2 seed. No, I said no. I said the Packers. The Packers beat us. We were the 2 seed last year. In last year's playoffs, we were one and done. Y'all beat us when I believe we were the 5 seed, and I believe we were the 3 seed. We were the 3 seed, I believe, when we lost to you guys the first time at Jerry World a couple years ago with Jimmy Garoppolo, porn star Jimmy at quarterback. So nah. You guys are still our kryptonite, bro. Like y'all got it. Y'all got it. It's another reason why I wasn't mad at McCarthy getting up out of there, because McCarthy has no answers whatsoever to beat the 49ers, though. He just doesn't. Jason Garrett has a better game plan to beat the 49ers than Mike McCarthy, man. Like, oh my God. I think McCarthy is beating the 49ers with us. We beat you guys one time. I think it was in 2020, a lost season. And that was with Andy Dalton at quarterback. And I think you guys had Nate Mullins at quarterback on y'all side. But a lost season for both of us. That's the last time we beat y'all. But it's been all San Francisco since. And y'all about to pay Brock Montana like $60 million a year. Shut up, Camo. Y'all like, get him out of here. Go work. Go. Y'all missed the point. Y'all on the same Cancun resort as us right now. This guy. Y'all on the same Cancun resort as us. Either way, we see y'all. Again, Camo. San Francisco's in. You guys are we're in the same Cancun resort. Pass me the margarita. Pass me the coconut. Love you, Camo. Love you, dog. Yeah, man. But I'm interested to see what the rest of this offseason. Again, we're gonna go live more. We are. Obviously, you're gonna continue to get new episodes of You Go Boy podcast throughout the offseason, up into the draft, up throughout free agency, and of course up into the brand new year, next season when this year does conclude. But keep an eye out for episode 61 with me and Camo. Me and Mongo. That one's going to be virtual. That will be either the next day or maybe 2 days after Super Bowl 59 wraps up. Me and Mongo are going to break it down. There's a possibility we might have a live special during the Super Bowl. We're still working out the kinks to see if the Wi-Fi is going to be strong enough in the area that we're going to be in, because we're going to watch it together for the first time. Because we want to watch the three-peat. Go Chiefs, baby. Go Patty Mahomes, bro. Patty Mahomes has saved me. He saved me from 2 49ers Super Bowls, and he saved me from an Eagles Super Bowl. I need him to save me from one more Eagles Super Bowl. Patty, I'm talking right to you, dog. You're a Texas native. You grew up a Cowboy fan. You're good friends with Dak Prescott. I need you to do me a solid one more time, dog. Save me from another Eagles Super Bowl, man. I've asked a lot of you. I asked you to save me twice from San Francisco. You did. I asked you to save me from Philly the first time. You did. I need you to save me one more time, bro. one more time from that damn Eagles Super Bowl. Please, please, Patty. I'm begging you. I'll be rooting for you. And if you do that, I might have to wear a Patty Mahomes jersey. I have a Patty Mahomes song. It's unreleased. I might have to release that if the Chiefs get this three-peat. I might have to throw that on all digital platforms. Speaking of music, by the way, yeah, Run It Up. I got a brand new video dropping on my birthday, February 16th. Run It Up. You Go Boy 88. That's the other YouTube channel. That's all music. The trailer's out right now, so check it out. Run It Up, produced by Eddie Heartthrob, shot by A1 Vision, photography by I Might Snap, my dream team. So You Go Boy music is dropping February 16th. I'm going to be in DR celebrating my 37th birthday, but I'm going to gift you guys like I typically do. I typically drop stuff on my birthday. So I'm going to drop a brand new video on my birthday for you guys. And we got more episodes of the You Go Boy podcast, of course. Lives with myself, virtual episodes with me and Mongo. We're going to be back in studio at some point within the next few weeks, but we do have episode 61 is on the way. So just be patient. Clips are going to be feeding you guys daily. Love you guys so much for supporting this YouTube channel, for supporting me, for supporting Mongo, for supporting Bravery Studios, for supporting your boy, man. You know what I mean? It's been an amazing ride. This has been another recap because this is what I do, baby. If I'm not in studio, I'm definitely gonna be recapping from the crib. DC posters, Marvel posters, and everything. But thanks for tuning in. As always, it's like Hakuna Matata. It means no worries. Yahtzee. Thanks for tuning in. Love y'all. Peace.